Welcome to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be reacting to the most popular pressure washing shorts out there on YouTube. As a fellow pressure washer, we're going to be breaking them down, giving my thoughts, giving any extra advice that I can potentially add to them. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to it.
Washing is always so satisfying.
If only it was just that satisfying. Yeah, huge shout out to DailyDoseofInternet for that one. It is extremely satisfying, but what people tend to not realize is that it is also extremely labor intensive if you don't have the right equipment. Most people don't have super fancy equipment that does all the hard work for them, but it is very satisfying to watch, especially when it involves algae, to just rinse it off and it be really nice looking afterwards. But people do forget that it is very taxing on your body sometimes, especially if you don't have the nice equipment. But it's always worth it because the customer's always so happy. The wow factor is really there, and it's awesome.
How much can I make pressure washing? That's kind of a loaded question,
I
but
guess
I'll
you
bite.
can technically
How
make
much
as
you
much
can
as you
make can
want.
vary depending on several factors like location, the type of services you offer, pricing strategy, and your marketing efforts. According to some industry estimates, a small pressure washing business can generate annual revenues ranging from $40,000 to
40,000.
$75,000, while larger businesses can
Ooh, a nice
generate
20-inch
six-figure
whirl away.
incomes
That's the
or
exact
more.
one I have,
But
except I
it's
got wheels
important to
on
note that
mine.
running a successful pressure washing business requires more than just owning a pressure washer. It also requires skills in customer service, marketing, and business management.
100% true. Mike is 100% correct. Huge shout out to Mike. He's a big inspiration to pretty much a lot of pressure washers here. But yeah, the best part of this video was how he said about customer service. That really is the standout wow factor that I was talking about previous, and that is something that I talk about a lot on this channel, is the wow factor and being professional. But yes, 40,000 seems extremely high, especially for first year. I think a more realistic is probably 20,000 your first year, and then maybe 40,000 to 50,000 your second year. I think that's more realistic, especially if you have some money to spend and you have some customer service skills. But he's absolutely correct with customer service skills. That is probably number one thing to have. So Mike's absolutely right about this one. I think the number's a little high though. Oh, my
Here are
main
three
man,
things to
Mr.
consider when
Bubbles.
starting a pressure washing business. Number one, get your pricing right from the very beginning. The number one mistake that new guys make is
Way
that
too
their
low.
pricing
Yeah.
is way too low. Number two, study your chemicals. The solution we are using to pre treat this concrete is a combination of surfactants, SH, or
Yep. That is how
sodium
you get professional
hypochlorite
results.
mixed in with some water. And number three, the most important one, make sure that you learn and you study how to
Of
get
course.
customers. I would start with a strong boots on the ground, door to
Yeah. Huge shout out to Mr. Bubbles, also a huge inspiration. He's absolutely correct. He's talked about getting a lot of customers, figuring out how to gain customers. It's easy to, at the end of the day, it's not too hard to pressure wash. It's hard to get the customers in the hand that feeds us. You know, we had to make sure we get customers. He's talking about post treating. That's how you get professional results. That's you use a mixture of sodium hypochlorite, surfactant, and water, usually about a 3%. I have a video on that explaining batch mixing ratios. And then what was the first thing he said? Oh, charging too low. Yeah. Charging too low is also extremely important. You have to realize that, especially if you're doing this full time or even side hustle, if you want to make any sort of decent margins in your business or do any type of exponential scaling, you need to charge appropriately. And you can't be charging $50 to be working for 3 hours and spending $20 on chemicals and $10 on gas. You're going to destroy your margins and you're not going to have a profitable business. And that's something that is very important. So be very confident with your prices, and I'll understand that this is your business, this is what you do, this is your lifeblood. So you can't go around charging $20 for everything. But another thing that he failed to mention, not hating on Mr. Bubbles, but another thing is to be very confident in your prices. Don't be like, this is going to be $200. No, be like, this is going to be $200, and this is why. Very professional, and it can probably net you some very high quality customers. So huge shout out to Mr. Bubbles. He's awesome. This one has 9 million views.
It's the most profitable service any pressure washing business can offer, and it's called roof washing. The process involves using a low pressure treatment of sodium hypochlorite, which eats it through organic growth in the shingles. Its biggest selling points are the added curb appeal of having a clean looking roof, as well as increasing the roof's longevity. However, it is also the hardest service to sell because of how costly it is and the fact that many homeowners
Absolutely. Forever Self-Employed, also a huge, you're a very popular pressure washer. He absolutely nailed on it. It is very difficult for roof washing, and it's something that I highly recommend not even worrying about if you're first starting in your first year, maybe even your second year. He's absolutely correct. Roof washing is an extremely high ticket, at least like $500 to $1,000 on just normal homes, and it's a very, very big wow factor. But the hard part about roof washing is not the necessarily washing part. It's all the overspray and all the collective SH that gets on grass and could be oversprayed over to another neighbor, or where the gutters are, the downspouts. That's a huge problem with it when involving with roof cleaning, and you probably need a second pair of hands. So he's absolutely right about this one. Justin's a great guy.
Summer side hustles for teens, part 22. Step 1, have a hose. Next, go around your neighborhood and offer to wash the mold and decay off people's garages and siding. It takes about 45 minutes to fully wash each garage. Wash 5 houses per day. Charge $150 per garage. And that's an extra $5K per week washing sidings. But would you do this with friends?
Yeah, only if it was that easy. Shout out to FinaceUnfolded, but I'm be a little gonna critique him a little bit. It's not that easy, and it's realistically you're not going to be $5,250 a week. That's incredibly unrealistic, and I bet that most professionals who have done it for 10 years aren't making $5,250 a week. It may be gross, but not net. So this is a little bit unrealistic, but he gets the idea that isn't really too hard, but your margins aren't going to be this crazy. This is not a very realistic thing. I think more realistically would be to shoot for about the $500 to $1,000 a week. I think that's extremely realistic, especially in your second year. But first year, if you can pull $500,000 a week, I think that's pretty and very impressive for your first job. So a little bit bloated in the response, but it's a little bit high of a number. That's not very realistic at all.
Come start a power washing business with me for under $1,000. For some reason, the power washers are in the gardening section, so just head there first. Now, first, you're gonna need a power washer, which I would recommend this one here at about 4 gallons per minute. Next, you're gonna need a surface cleaner to clean
DeWalt
concrete with.
4
I really
GPM.
wouldn't recommend any of
I
these
don't know
other
about that
crap
surface cleaner.
cleaners. They're just not gonna get the job done for the gallons per minute we have. Next, you're gonna wanna buy 100 to 200 feet of garden hose. Hose reels are optional at first, but they make everything a ton more organized. Next is a pump-up
I would
sprayer
argue they're
to
not
post-treat and
optional.
pre-treat the concrete. And I forgot to mention that the power washers generally come with oil, tips, and a hose. And in total, depending on what power washer you get, we're at about $600 to $900.
I know. A huge shout out to Nolan Buchanan. That was actually a very informative video. He actually brought up some good points I didn't expect him to bring up. He avoided the crap cheap surface cleaners, which is I did not expect. That's huge props because they are absolute crap and they probably won't even last you a job. He recommended the DeWalt 4 GPM. I'm not 100% sure about DeWalt, but I'm assuming that it would probably last you at least a year, and you could definitely get your money's worth out of it. So for $700, if that is a decent machine that could even last you maybe 40, 50 jobs, I think that would be 100% worth it. 4 GPMs are, if you don't know, GPM stands for gallons per minute. It's determining the flow rate. It's how effective and efficient you are in cleaning. And people who actually pressure wash understand how important that is. But yeah, not a bad video at all. I don't think it would be under 1,000 nowadays, especially if you want a lot pressure washing hose, like a 200 feet of pressure washing hose, or maybe even 100. I think it'd probably be more realistic, about 1,200 to 300, but not a bad video at all. Huge shout out to him.
You won't believe how I get
Huge shout out
$1,000
to
pressure washing
Tristin.Kalina.
jobs. I like to go door to door before and after the service. During the before notion, I just say, hey, we're gonna be making a little bit of noise. Don't mind
Tristan's
us.
a goat.
I don't even give them anything. And then after, I give them a door hanger with a QR code directed to my website and say, hey, thank you for your hospitality. I noticed your house is a little bit dirty, so if you ever need anything from us, just let us know. You'd be so surprised by how many calls you get from this. This tactic is hella effective. Let's go.
Yeah, Tristan's a great guy. He definitely understands what to do. So basically what he's talking about is leveraging the fact that you're there and leveraging basically their eyeballs to say, heck, hey, by the way, I'm going to be here, look at me, look at what we're doing, pique your interest a little bit. It's actually an insanely effective strategy. I personally haven't done it, but I can see it working extraordinarily well, especially during slow seasons, because when you realize that some neighborhoods are kind of hard to get into, once you get into that neighborhood, it's definitely good to capitalize when you're there. So huge shout out to Tristin.Kalina. The guy's awesome. All right, we got the final one here.
How to pressure wash a driveway like the pros. This is the only video you'll need, so make sure to save this for later. Start by pre-treating the area with sodium hypochlorite, also known as pool
Pre-treating
chlorine,
is
mixed with
probably
this
optional.
surfactant. Rinse all surrounding vegetation with water before, during, and after the process.
Always water
to
the
protect them.
plants.
Now let the solution dwell for 10 to 15 minutes. Next, use your pressure washing wand to outline the edges where your surface cleaner
Totally
can't
agree.
reach. A trade secret is rounding off each corner, as it's a lot easier to get your surface cleaner through. Now for the main cleaning. Pro tip, always start from the highest point of the driveway
water
and work
flow.
your way
Yep.
down, letting gravity help rinse away dirt and grime as you go. Move at a steady pace. If you go too fast, you'll leave behind something called tiger stripes due to uneven cleaning. Keep it slow and steady and you'll get a perfect streak-free finish just like I am here. Now at the very end, you'll have some dirty
Post-treating.
water still left on the concrete, so use a ball valve to rinse all this away, or if you don't have that, just use a pressure washing wand, they'll be fine. Make sure to give us a follow.
I'm going to add on a little bit to this video. Shout out to Shark Pressure Washing because he really did hit it on the nail here. But I'm going to give a little bit of critiques to this video. So he mentioned post-treating, which post-treating does work and it is effective. However, I would argue that post-treating, which is what he did, but after cleaning, is more effective in my opinion. I have a picture right here that I'll throw up. It's a test that I did of no pre-treating, and I just post-treated and it cleaned up everything. I didn't even need the post-treatment. I didn't even need the pre-treat. So pre-treating could be argued that it's a potential waste of chemical, but at the same time, you're going to get some good results no matter what. So it's not really too big of a deal, but it could save you some money. He also mentioned tiger striping, which could happen no matter what, no matter how slow you go, because it's the uneven cleaning of lines. You're basically overlapping and cleaning something twice. So that could happen no matter what, no matter how slow you go. But like I mentioned earlier, the best way to get rid of that is post-treating. But other than that, I mean, this guy knows what's good. So huge shout out to Shark Pressure Washing. This is a great short. I understand why this is popular. But yeah, that's about it, guys. So this has been a reaction to the most popular pressure washing video shorts that I could find. And I wanted to give my 2 cents on them as a fellow pressure washer who's been doing it for some time now. So wanted to give my insight a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed. So stay tuned for more.